All right, settle in, because today we've got a story that feels like it's ripped straight out of a political thriller. Picture this. A young, ambitious politician decides he's going to take on his entire financial establishment. And his weapon of choice? You guessed it, Bitcoin. But nope, he's not just hodling in his basement. He wants to bring the entire nation along for the ride. Let's get into it.
I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Like something you'd read in a sci-fi novel. But for one Swedish politician, this isn't just some wild fantasy. He actually sees it as a matter of national survival. So what's the deal here? How on earth did a member of parliament end up tumbling so deep down the Bitcoin rabbit hole?
So let me introduce you to Dennis Dukar. Back in 2014, he became the youngest MP in Swedish history. Pretty cool. And around that same time, just like a lot of us, he started hearing the buzz about Bitcoin. But, being a politician, he had this one simple rule for himself. Don't have a strong opinion on something you haven't really researched. So he just kind of put it on the back burner.
So what was the big turning point? Well, check out this timeline. During that big market crash in 2021 and 22, while pretty much everyone was screaming bubble, Dukar was looking at history. He saw that bubbles, from tulip mania to the 2008 crisis, they pop, and then they're gone. But Bitcoin? It just kept bouncing back, stronger every single time, and that's when he knew, okay, I have to figure this thing out. And once he did his homework, as he put it, there was no going back.
Okay, so what exactly did he find in his research that made him think an entire nation needed a backup plan? Well, part of his job meant he got a peek behind the curtain of the global economy. And let's just say it wasn't a pretty sight. Take a look at this number right here, 120%. That is the U.S. debt to GDP ratio. Now, in simple terms, that means the U.S. government owes more money than its entire economy produces in a whole year. Yeah. When the currency that the entire global financial system is built on is in that kind of trouble, you've got a serious problem. For Dukar, this was a giant flashing red alert sign. And for him, this wasn't just some academic thought exercise. He looked at the hard numbers, the money printing that's just out of control, the literal mountains of debt, and he came to a pretty stark conclusion. The system we have right now, it's a ticking time bomb. It's really not a question of if it's going to blow up, but when.
All right, so if the current system is a total mess, what's the solution? Well, Dukar isn't just telling folks to buy a little Bitcoin for themselves. Oh no, he's thinking way, way bigger. He has formally proposed that the entire nation of Sweden start stacking sats. And he breaks it down into 3 key points. First, he sees it as a geopolitical power move. He's seeing other countries, even the Swiss National Bank, starting to dip their toes into Bitcoin. He's basically yelling, hey, if we don't get in on this, we're going to be left in the dust. Second, it's an insurance policy, a hedge against that financial apocalypse we were just talking about. And third, it's a bet on the future. He argues that ignoring Bitcoin today is like ignoring the internet back in the 90s. And that's probably not a smart move. So, Dukar, armed with all his research and what seems like a pretty solid plan, went to the so-called experts. He went right before the Swedish central bank and basically asked, hey, shouldn't we at least look into this? Their response? Well, it was a real doozy. I mean, seriously, just let that sink in for a second. This is a top central banker in Sweden. At a time when entire countries and massive investment funds are openly buying Bitcoin, the very people in charge of Sweden's financial future are basically saying, Bitcoin? Nah, never heard of it. Dukar was speechless. And honestly, can you blame him? You can't make this stuff up. So his conclusion was simple and kind of brutal. The financial guardians of the entire nation knew absolutely nothing about the 8th largest asset in the world. That's like the head of the weather service saying they're not really sure what clouds are. It's more than just concerning, it's honestly terrifying. Oh, but wait, it gets even better. While the central bank is blissfully ignorant about Bitcoin, they have been hard at work on their own digital currency, something called the e-krona. And you gotta love the irony here, because its core philosophy is the complete and total opposite of Bitcoin. And this slide right here perfectly illustrates that fundamental conflict. Bitcoin is decentralized. Nobody is in charge. A CBDC, on the other hand, is the ultimate form of centralization. The government has total control. Dukar calls it a Pandora's box, and for very good reason. Once you give a government that kind of power, you can never, ever take it back. So what's the big deal? Well, this money is programmable. That means the government could see every single purchase you make. They could even program your money to enforce their policies. Don't want you driving too much?
They could limit how much gas you can buy. Think you're eating too much meat? They could just cut you off. And if you think that sounds like some wild conspiracy theory, just look at what happened with the Canadian trucker protests. The government froze people's bank accounts with a push of a button. That is the future a CBDC could bring.
So you've got a central bank that's completely clueless about Bitcoin, but is going all in on a potential surveillance coin. What's a politician supposed to do? Well, Dukar isn't proposing some crazy multi-billion-dollar plan. He's starting with something so simple, so logical, you're going to wonder why nobody else thought of it. His proposal is pure genius in its simplicity, and it costs the taxpayer absolutely nothing. All he's saying is this: when the government seizes Bitcoin from criminals, instead of selling it right away, just don't. Just hold on to it. And boom, just like that, Sweden starts building a national Bitcoin reserve with zero financial or political risk. It is a brilliant, brilliant first step.
And that leaves all of us with one really big question. This whole story shows us a politician who actually did his own research, facing off against a central bank that's completely out of the loop. If the so-called experts are this clueless about maybe the most significant financial innovation of our lifetime, then who should we be trusting with our financial future? It's a question for Sweden for sure, but it's also a question for all of us.